Have you ever wondered why your meta ads flop during Black Friday? Here's the fix that top brands won't share. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Andre, founder of HoloGrowth. We help e-commerce brands scale profitably to 7 and 8 figures in revenue. And over the past few years, I've been in the trenches with over 50 different e-commerce brands, and I've seen firsthand what works and what doesn't work. And every Q4, I see exactly the same problem. Great brands completely overspend on meta ads during Black Friday, chasing return on ad spend instead of real profit. And they end up with high customer acquisition costs and crushed margins. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly how to hit $100,000 in profit during this Black Friday without just throwing more money at ads. Stay till the end, because missing this framework could cost you the biggest sales weekend of the entire year. Point 1. Craft irresistible Black Friday offers. Nail your cold traffic offer to drive volume. First, if you want to hit $100,000 in profit on Black Friday, you have to master cold traffic offers. Most e-commerce brands treat Black Friday like it's just another discount day, slashing prices and hoping for the best. And that is a huge mistake. Cold audiences are people who have never heard of your brand before, and they need more than just a 20% off discount code to buy from your brand. Especially during Black Friday, where everyone does huge discounts and where everyone just slashes prices to get as many new customers as possible. Here's what you can put into action right now to prepare for a massive Black Friday. First, urgency in offers. For Black Friday, you always have to think of urgency. Try something like a limited stock or limited offer. For example, for the first 500 customers that buy from your website on Black Friday, they get an additional product for free. Or you can also give some time-based urgency. So if someone buys in 24 hours during Black Friday, then they get an additional discount. 2, you should bundle up products and create bundle offers. Most e-commerce brands just slash prices, give a lot of discounts, and they end up with no profit margin at all. They might acquire a lot of new customers, but they're losing money. They're not making any profit on those customers that they're acquiring. Maybe the customers will come back at some point and will end up buying, and the customer lifetime value will make sense for the business, but you never know. And you don't want to just waste a lot of money, spend a lot of money during Black Friday, and then hope that it comes back in the next few months. So you should create so-called bundle offers, where you group multiple products together and discount those together. And then you can add additional bonuses, additional incentives to make it even more attractive. And that way, you have a high perceived value. Like for the customer, it looks like it's an amazing offer. There are a lot of things that they're buying together, and they're not just they're not just buying one product to fix their problem, their issue, but they buy a whole bundle. They buy a whole set that completely fixes the problem that they currently have. At the same time, that allows you to still have high profit margins, healthy profit margins, while you acquire new customers. So especially if you throw in some low-cost incentives, like some additional bonuses, for example, a free PDF, a recipe book, a guide, and all of those things that have a very low cost for you. They might even be free if it's just an ebook or something, or it's just very, very cheap, but they massively increase the perceived value for the customer. So you can still have a high average order value and high profit margins, while the offer is still way more attractive than just a basic 20% off discount code. And for that, you need to know your numbers. We had one brand that was always doing a generic 20% or 30% off, but we realized, looking at the numbers, looking at their costs and how many products the people are on average buying, we realized that at the same time, with the same profit margins, they could offer a way, way more attractive offer. They could do something like buy 2 products and get 3 products for free. So basically get 5 products for the price of 2 products. And they had the same profit margins with that insane offer, just because based on their cost of the goods sold and their customer acquisition cost, it was like they made the same money in the end. And obviously the offer, like buy 2, get 3 for free, is way more enticing, way more attractive than just giving a bland 30% off discount code. And then number 3, you should integrate social proof into your offer. You should have different videos addressing the key objections and have an FAQ that handles all the objections that your customers might have. Social proof is really crucial to make sure that you can convert cold traffic into customers, especially if it's a higher average order value product and you're selling something for more than just $50. You have to make sure that you have a lot of social proof. It's not just enough to have some basic reviews. You need to have video testimonials, video reviews, photos, UGC, ideally even authority-based social proof. So PR, like magazines that talked about it, or famous influencers that used the products and reviewed those products. And you have to make sure that you show all of that. You should show that in the ads, in the content, on the product page, everywhere. Like when a customer sees your ads, sees your product, goes on the site, they should immediately be completely overwhelmed with the amount of social proof that you have. And you need a lot of social proof to be able to hit $100,000 per day in profit. Before launching a Black Friday offer, you should ideally make sure that you test different acquisition offers before. You can't just put all your hopes and dreams on one new customer acquisition offer. Ideally, you start weeks in advance and you test 3 to 5, ideally even 10 different new customer offers, and you see what works the best, what converts the best, what sticks the best, what do customers really like, what do they end up buying, how much are they spending with you. And you need to know all of those metrics to really figure out what the best new customer acquisition offer is that you can run during Black Friday. If it's already too late and Black Friday is already coming up, you can also just run multiple offers during Black Friday. Like you don't have to stick to one offer. You can start with multiple offers and then see which converts the best, which gets you the best customer acquisition cost and the best return on ad spend. And then you just scale that and turn off everything else. You have to make sure that you really have an irresistible offer that just screams value. Take a page from how we scaled Nooktails from 30K per month to over 500K per month in only 70 days during last year's Black Friday. We took their hero product and bundled it with high margin add-ons. Additionally, we put on a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, a 30-day money-back guarantee to increase the perceived value and decrease the risk for the potential customer. And that allowed us to scale the meta ads from 0 to over 5K per day in ad spend at a profitable return on ad spend, at profitable new customer acquisition. And we got them to over $500,000 in revenue in just 70 days of us partnering up. Quick pause. If you are worried your meta ads won't hold up this Q4, I've got something special for you. My custom 90-day scaling roadmap is a personalized growth plan where I dive deep into your ad accounts, your funnels, your metrics to spot leaks before the biggest sales season. We have used this to scale brands like Bololo from 160K per month to 1.5 million per month in revenue. Want clarity and a profit-first strategy before the rush? Click the link in the description and book a free session with me. But let's get back to the framework. Point 2, build a scalable meta ad structure. Your meta ad structure has to be built for scale during Black Friday. Most brands throw money at ads without a clear plan, and their CPAs just skyrocket when traffic spikes. You just can't afford that on a high-stakes day like Black Friday. Let's break down the exact steps that you can take to build a perfect meta ad structure. Start by segmenting your audiences. Have different ads, different messaging, different creatives based on different people, based on different stages of their buying journey. If someone is completely broad, has no idea what your brand is not even problem aware, or is problem aware but not solution aware, you want to have completely different content and completely different ads to target those people than those who have already heard of your brand before, or who are problem aware, solution aware, but just don't know which product to get and whether your product is the right product for them or whether they want to go with one of the competitors. You need to make sure that you have different content for each of those audience segments. The majority of your focus should be on broad, top of the funnel audiences. So people who have never heard of the brand before and people who are not interested in it right now. You need to create content and ads that are targeting a lot of people. And obviously, you still don't just want to talk to everyone. Like you don't want to just create content that speaks to everyone. You want to make sure that you call out the right people with the right problem and then get them to watch the content, get them interested, get them hooked. And then you also need to have content and ads for the different stages of the buying journey. So middle of the funnel, if someone is in the consideration stage, so maybe they know your brand, maybe they know that they want a product like yours, but they don't know like which one to get yet. They're still researching, still comparing, and you want to have content for that, like objection handling content, social proof content, and different use cases for your products. All of those things that just help for the consideration stage. And then also for the bottom of the funnel, people who are like on the verge of buying, they're just waiting for the right moment, the right offer. That's where you want to give them that irresistible offer where they can't do anything else than just buy right now, especially with the urgency that you added in there. Like they have to buy right now. Otherwise, they will not get the additional benefit. The stock will run out. The offer will disappear. That's how you make sure that you target each segment of the audience properly. Nowadays, with Meta, you don't need to have different campaigns for each different audience segment. Like back in the days, you had a bottom of the funnel campaign, a middle of the funnel, and a top of the funnel campaign. And you would exclude the different audiences from those and have different ads in each campaign. But nowadays, Meta's algorithm does all of that automatically. You don't have to worry about segmenting the campaigns by audiences, but you still want to make sure that you have content and have ads for the different segments of the audiences. That way, Meta's algorithm will automatically know who is like bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, and they will automatically show the right content to the right people at the right time. Step 2, you want to make sure that you do a lot of creative testing and dynamic testing. You want to make sure you have different headlines, different copies, different creatives. I mentioned already, you need to have the different content for the different audience segments, but even going inside the segments, you want to have a lot of different content, a lot of content variety. Back in the days, it was enough to have one ad, maybe have 10 different headlines on it, and it would work. Like you would take the same image creative, you would just make small tweaks, small changes to the headline, and that would be enough to have a completely different ad, completely different creative. Nowadays, it doesn't work that way. Again, Meta is consolidating everything. Meta wants to make sure that you have a lot of creative variety, diversity, and therefore you want to make sure that you test as many different ads as possible. You can't just make small tweaks, small changes. It has to be completely different advertising angles, completely different advertising styles. So you can test some different UGC content, some different product demos, some testimonials, some aesthetic videos, some FAQs, and all of those completely different styles of creatives. And then you want to see which style of creative works best. Obviously, based on that, you can iterate, you can create new, more, and better content around that. But especially in the beginning, you want to have as many different types of ads as possible. Not as many different variants of one specific type, but as many different types of creatives. Part 3 is the budget management and the scaling. Ideally, you should start pretty small if you're launching the campaigns before Black Friday and you have some time. You should start them low and then scale them up. You'll see what works, and then on a daily basis, you increase the budgets by 20% every single day until it breaks, until you suddenly see that the profitability goes down and that the ads are not performing as good as they should be. If you're already launching on Black Friday, you don't have that time to do that. You have to be way, way more aggressive. You need to go inside the campaigns with a high budget and risk it, because otherwise you'll not have enough time to scale up. And on the day of Black Friday, everyone tries to spend a lot of money on Meta ads. And if you just start to scale up the budget on the day of Black Friday, you will not be able to spend enough. Even if you like 10x the budget in the middle of the day, Meta will not spend all of it. Meta will just not be able to spend it because in the beginning you had a lower budget. That's what Meta planned for. And then if you scale it up, Meta will not spend everything. So you have to go into it with a high budget already, and then obviously keep track of it, look at it on an hourly basis, and then make changes on it on an hourly basis. Sometimes with some brands, we're as aggressive that on an hourly basis, we look at all the metrics, we look at the performance, we look at whether the customer acquisition cost is profitable. And then if it is, we double the budget. The next hour, we look at it again, we double the budget. And we keep doing that, keep scaling up crazy aggressively until it doesn't work anymore, until it breaks. And then at the end of the day, if it's just one day of Black Friday, then we scale back again before we go to sleep, because otherwise you will spend a lot of money and it can be very risky and you can lose out on a lot of money. Obviously, as I mentioned, Meta will not spend all of the budget. So if you keep doubling the budget on an hourly basis, Meta will not spend all of it, but you want to make sure that you spend as much as you can if it's profitable and that you get the most out of that day as possible. That's how we take some brands from a daily average of 5 to 10K per day to suddenly 100K, 150K in revenue in one single day, just by ramping up the ad spend and being very, very aggressive. And number 4, you have to make sure that you focus on the profitability. Especially if you scale up that aggressively and you want to be as aggressive, you have to make sure that you're first order profitable. You can't just look at the in-platform metrics. You can't just look at the cost per acquisition and the return on ad spend that Meta is reporting. You have to look at the back end, at the real numbers, at the real business metrics, and figure out whether you're still acquiring new customers profitably and whether you can afford spending more, spending 10 times the budget and still be healthy, be cash flow positive. If an ad suddenly doesn't work, if a campaign breaks, if it doesn't acquire new customers profitably, you have to cut it. You have to reduce the budget or pause the campaign, cut the ad, because otherwise you will lose money. This structure ensures that you handle Black Friday volume without bleeding cash. If you want to access the exact playbooks that we use for our clients during Black Friday, I've got something special for you. My free Meta Ads Playbook breaks down the exact step-by-step strategies from real 7- and 8-figure brands, backed by over 50 million in ad spend. It's completely packed with tactics to structure winning Q4 campaigns, and it's completely free. Click the link below to grab it now. But let's wrap this up with the final piece. Point 3. Master real-time data for Black Friday wins. Finally, to make 100K during Black Friday, you must use data to pivot fast. Black Friday isn't a set it and forget it event. Traffic and competition completely spike, and what works at 9 a.m. might completely tank by noon. Brands must check their metrics on an hourly basis to avoid losing thousands. That's how we scaled Algo RX from 70K per month to 500K per month in revenue in 10 months at a 10x blended return on ad spend. Using data in real time ensures you maximize every dollar spent while it matters the most. Here's exactly what you need to do. Use your Meta Ads dashboard in combination with a Shopify dashboard or even tools like Triple Whale, Polar Analytics, or anything like that to track your marketing efficiency ratio and your blended customer acquisition cost in real time. If your marketing efficiency ratio or your blended customer acquisition cost drops below the break-even point, you have to pause underperforming ads or you have to make changes to the campaigns. Then you want to focus on first order return ad spend and achieve first order profitability. Obviously, there are some brands that are not able to do that. There are some brands that want to play the LTV game and acquire a new customer and then get them to pay back the customer acquisition cost in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and that's fine. But for you, especially if you want to scale very, very aggressively and if you're cash flow constrained, you want to make sure that you track first order profitability and you track the first order return ad spend and you are first order profitable. If a campaign isn't profitable on day one, you don't want to hope for LTV to save it. You need to cut losses fast to protect your budget. And then you have to make sure that you check data frequently. On Black Friday, you should at least look at the numbers, look at the data every 3 to 4 hours. Ideally, every single hour. Then you can scale up the winners, either by 20 to 30%, or if you want to be really aggressive, even by doubling them. And you have to kill the losers without hesitation. Obviously, on Meta, there's the learning phase. And if you increase the budget too much, you'll disrupt the learning phase and whatever. But during Black Friday, that doesn't count. Black Friday is war mode. And you want to be as aggressive as possible. And you don't just want to scale the budget by 20% every 3 to 4 days. No, we want to double it every single hour if the profit margins are there and if the performance is there to justify it. This agility and looking at your ad account and your metrics on an hourly basis makes sure that you get the most out of your ad spend and you don't waste anything and you also don't underspend during the Black Friday. So there you have it. 3 key lessons to make 100K in profit during Black Friday with your Meta ads. First, nail your cold traffic offer with irresistible bundles, urgency, and social proof. Second, structure your Meta ads with audience segmentation, a lot of testing, and with the structure that can handle a lot of scaling. And finally, leverage data to pivot on the day itself fast. These steps, rooted in what works for brands like Bololo, Algo RX, or Nooktails, can transform your Black Friday from wasting a lot of money to having a profit explosion. And I'm talking about getting so many sales that your fulfillment center will completely break down. You'll be overwhelmed with the sheer amount of orders and customers that you're getting. And you'll probably get some bad reviews on Trustpilot because people don't get the orders on time. The support isn't able to handle all of them. And I'm talking out of experience. That already happened to 2 of our clients Black Friday last year. And if you implement everything, it might also happen to you. And if you want to push those results even further and turn a winning weekend into a $1 million scaling plan, stick around for another Black Friday video. Click to watch now. and let's keep building your growth.